All right, I want to welcome you to another episode of the Do Work Podcast. The Do Work Podcast is a weekly podcast where we discuss all things mindset, motivation, entrepreneurship, and how to live your best life possible. Today is no different. We are in our 31 days of motivation and mindfulness series. This is day 28, and I was trying to think what can we do that would just be like super hype, like super pumped. So today on day 28, we're going to talk about being your own hype man. Be your own hype man. So what does that mean? A lot of times we go through our days and we are not, giving ourselves the credit we deserve. We are waiting for others to co-sign on our greatness. Well, I'm here to tell you, you got to be your own hype man first. Because just the way people work, they get excited when you're excited. They get fired up when you're fired up. So it's up to you to show up, show out, and be your own damn hype man. Stop waiting for people to back you up. Stop waiting for people to support you. They're not. Truthfully, they're not supposed to. Because your dreams and your goals are your dreams and your goals. They're not theirs. Be your own hype man. I tell people positive self-talk is an amazing thing, especially when you're having extra crappy days. You have to remind yourself of your worth. Remind yourself how beautiful you are. Remind yourself of your strengths. And I think when we talked in one of the previous episodes, I can't even remember because there's so many back to back right now, but we were discussing how, part of daily routines is simply waking up and starting with gratitude and saying phrases of affirmation. And that could be anything for you. There's nothing wrong with simply reminding yourself that you're the shit. Now, clearly, you still have to take action on all of that. You can't just wake up saying how amazing you are and then take no action. But you have to wake up and remind yourself of your greatness. I personally do it daily. I have things I say to myself. And you got to remind yourself you're the best who ever did it. Even if you're still learning and growing, and I'm not telling you to be delusional. I'm not telling you to wake up and be like, I'm about to go out and outball LeBron James. Today's my day. I don't know about that. But I've also learned if you continually shoot beyond what you believe to be your limitations, you will soar. So don't stifle your growth and creativity. Be your own hype man. Fire your own self up. It's great when other people are there to support you and do it for you, but that is not going to always be the case. So as we talked about when we discussed motivation, remember, motivation is a spark. So you have to find it from somewhere deep within inside yourself daily. Be your own hype man. Be your own hype man. I'm going to go into work today and I'm going to crush it. Today I'm going to be the best mother possible. Today is the day that I set the tone and maybe I put up my boundaries. Today is the day that I'm going to make 10 sales instead of just 6. Like today is that day. You got to speak that energy and that positivity into existence on a daily. And especially when you don't feel like it. Because let me tell you, being positive is great. And it's super easy to do when things are going great. When things are going bad, that's when you have to be able to really hype yourself up. That's when you have to really be able to remind yourself of your power. It's easy to do when things are going great. But when things aren't going so great, you're like, man, those negative thoughts start to creep in. The self-doubt starts to creep in. The uncertainty starts to creep in. And you have to be like, hold up. I know I'm having a bad time, but I am still powerful. I am still focused. You got to remind yourself. When I was growing up, true story, when I was growing up, my mom still does this. So she would hype herself up. Now, I don't know if I probably said on the podcast already. My mother is a preacher. My mother's a preacher. And so sometimes it would be so funny. Before she would go up and preach, you would literally see her in the corner, like hyping herself up, like she was about to go run ball or something, like just kind of shaking, jumping, getting the energy going, and then go deliver her sermon. So, and she still does it. When she get ready to do certain things, like she started getting the shoulders going, she's like, all right, all right. I'm like, okay, mom, get that energy going. Be your own hype man. Get yourself, get it popping for you. But I learned a long time ago that no one's going to do it for you. I mean, you would hope, you would wish and pray that people will be super supportive as you start to navigate this lovely journey called life, but it's not always the case. So you have to wake up and be prepared to push yourself, to hype yourself up, to remind you of your greatness, remind you of your power, remind you of your passion, remind you of your self-worth. All that has to happen, and it's going to have to come from you. You may not be able to get that from an outside source in any capacity. Be your own hype man. Don't wait for people to co-sign on your greatness. Don't wait for people to co-sign on your dream. Don't wait for people to tell you how amazing you are. Believe, know, you are amazing. Be your own hype man. Like you really, this one is huge. This one is huge because the things you say to yourself daily, they become your reality. I'm going to say it again. The things you say to yourself daily become your reality. So if you're waking up and you're not hyping yourself up and sending good energy and vibes to you, to yourself, that's going to be a problem. Because whatever energy you put out there is what you're going to get. So if it's a lot of negativity and bad day and I'm mad and I hate this job, this sucks, all that starts to really manifest itself before it even happened. Because that's what you put out there. That's as you are hyping yourself up. Instead of being a positive hype up, it became a negative one. So those negative things start to form. You got to be your own hype man. You got to be your own hype man. Nobody's going to do it for you. I wish I could tell you different. Especially when you're down and you're in the trenches and you're grinding and you need somebody to just say to you, Diva, you got this. Or, Richard, you got this. When you need it most sometimes, you ain't going to get it. So what do I need you to do? I'm going to tell you what I need you to do. One, once this podcast ends, I want you to hype yourself up. I want you to hype yourself up. Go, Dee. You got it, Dee. You're the best who ever did it. You about to crush this day. You about to murder it. Whatever you got to say to get yourself going and get that energy up and get your body involved in it. When I was in school for musical theater and dance, one thing's for certain, your body responds to your words and your energy. So even if you're in a crappy mood, if you start to say positive things and move your body and stand with your chest proud, your whole energy and attitude is going to shift. So it's extremely important that you be your own hype man. You can change your state. It's funny, Tony Robbins often talks about the power position. We did that all the time in theater school. I never really knew it had a name. We just did it. If we wanted to feel sad or feel whatever the emotion was for that moment, we put our bodies in those positions so we could feel that. If we wanted to feel happy, proud, we put our bodies in these positions so we can feel that. So I say to you, wake up, hype yourself up, be your own damn hype man, get that energy going. Remind yourself of your greatness. Remind yourself of your power. Remind yourself of your purpose, your passion, who you are. Start your day with that. And I promise you, the energy and the tone for the rest of your day, no matter what happens, will be different because you've already established the vibes for the day. You've already established how this day is going to go. Even if it gets off track, you set the tone. Be your own hype man. All right, fam. This is episode 28 of Do Work Podcast. 31 days of motivation and mindfulness. And let me tell you, I've really enjoyed this journey. We have a few more days left, and then we'll get back into our regular podcast flow. But be your own hype man, guys. Be your own hype man. If you haven't already, make sure to please subscribe to the Do Work newsletter over at divarichards.com and subscribe to the podcast. Share with a friend, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever you secure your podcast, wherever you stream your podcast from. Follow us there. All right, guys. You know what I'm going to say? Nothing changes unless you do. Nothing changes unless you do the work.